Pele is crazy and that nobody really pays attention to the things he says.
Bruh.
Run that back.
That looks nuts. Who is this guy? He was better than Maradona? What? Whoa, they saying this is the big three back in the day? Maradona, and what's his name? El Magico and Pele. This is the big three of the old days?
Pele is one of the most iconic football players who have ever lived. He is a national hero in Brazil, has unbelievable records under his name, and countless people worldwide consider him the greatest player to ever step foot on the pitch. So would you believe me if I told you that Pele is actually the most overrated footballer of all time? Hey guys, what's up? It's Raymar back again for another video, and today we're gonna look at why Pele is the most overrated footballer of all time. But before you hit that dislike button and call me an idiot in the comment section, I just want to say that I am in no way trying to disrespect Pele or the impact that he had on football. So just watch till the very end to see all the information before you start to hate. The idea that Pele was undoubtedly the greatest player ever just seemed to be taken in as a fact, and nobody really questioned why. Whenever names like Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, or any other footballing icons are brought up, Pele always seems to be the benchmark or standard by which fans use to judge these players. Even a young 17-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo has stated that Pele is the greatest player in football history. Well, Ronaldo was born in 1985, and by that time, Pele had already been retired for 8 years. So the question remains to even you guys watching out there, how can you call someone the greatest of all time if you've never even seen them play? So to break down why Pele is the most overrated footballer ever, let's begin with his unreal and almost godlike record of scoring 1,283 goals.
Yeah!
The most recorded by any footballer in history. However, the truth is that 526, or roughly 40% of those goals, were not actually scored in official matches. Those goals were actually scored in friendlies, exhibitions, and tour games against below average teams and players. Even unofficial games like the ones recorded against the Brazilian Coast Guard were counted towards his goal tally. Pele's official record is 757 goals in 812 appearances, which, don't get me wrong, is of course still legendary. One of the best goal-scoring ratios of all time. However, if you look at the score sheet, you'll notice just how skewed some of these scores are in games that Pele scored more than 3 goals. We can see his team dominating their opponents with scores like 11-0, 11-1, and 10-0. Also, if you look at the clubs they're against, you'll probably notice Nacional, Juventus, and Botafogo. But those aren't the actual club giants. He never scored 5 goals against the Juventus in Italy, or 5 goals against the Nacional in Uruguay. But he did score on the ones with the same name that played for the Brazilian league. On to my next point is that the overall competition and level of football that Pele was playing against at the time was not very exceptional at all. Back in Pele's era, the overall standard and quality of football was not as good. Pele was an exceptional player in that generation because of how he transformed the game. It's no surprise that the nature...
Yo, looking back at those records, those guys are shit. Wallahi, those guys are shit. They had no other options, bro.
Of football or any other sport, just like with everything else in the world, increases in quality as time goes on due to factors like technological advancement, better understanding, and new styles being developed. If you've been paying attention to the level of defense being played, it was hardly impressive. In that era, only a handful of players really stood out. There weren't many elite defenders in that era, but to be fair, Pele was a generational talent that had never been seen before, being an exceptional offensive talent with that flair and touch that just seems to come natural to many Brazilian talents in today's
that is
game.
actually kind of crazy.
In fact, Pele's style of play actually bridged the term joga bonito, or the beautiful game, to the football world. But a good question you should ask yourself is, could Pele actually do this against defenders like Sergio Ramos, Paolo Maldini, Fabio Cannavaro, or other elite defenders that came so much longer after he had retired? I mean, try naming even a couple of elite defenders in Pele's time, and if you can't, then go ahead and hit that like button. Also, Pele's FIFA World Cup achievements aren't as marvelous as everyone is led to believe. Although he does have the most finals wins, many people believe that he also held the record for the most goals scored. But that record actually belongs to Ronaldo the Fenomeno. Or that was until Germany's Miroslav Klose broke the record in 2014. The most World Cup games won also belongs to fellow Brazilian Cafu with 16. In fact, Pele was actually outperformed in all 3 of his World Cup final wins and really only won 2 World Cups. In his first World Cup final win in 1958, his teammate Didi was voted the player of the tournament. In his second World Cup win in 1962, he was injured and didn't even play any significant minutes, while his teammate Garrincha led Brazil to a win with some breathtaking performances. And on his third and final World Cup win in 1970, which was the first ever—
Yo, this man is exposing Pele. What the fuck? Yo, I did not know all this. What the hell?
World Cup to be broadcasted in full color, Pele wasn't even Brazil's top goal scorer. The honor actually belongs to his teammate Jairzinho, who scored 7 goals in the tournament.
Good! They said this is the real god of Brazil. Good! Yo! Hey! That is awesome as fuck, bro. They said this is the real god of Brazil. This guy looks like a fucking monster. Nah, Pele cool and all, but this guy looks like he would punish Pele.
I read many Brazilians are actually aware of these facts. It's more common knowledge for them, but to everyone else, Pele's name just seems to be on a whole nother level. Apparently, if you ask any Brazilian who their greatest players are, you're likely to hear Jairzinho, Garrincha, or Zizinho. In fact, on my video about the tragic story of Robinho—
Oh, Jairzinho, that motherfucker is crazy. He's the unspoken hero. He's the uncrowned king. They said Pele not even the best Brazilian. Bro, give Jairzinho his clout, bruh. Wait, hold on. City said Pele was credited with 3 World Cups when he was injured for 1. Jairzinho won it, and he wasn't. And Pele wasn't top goal scorer for the other. Jairzinho was. They said Jairzinho the GOAT! They said Jairzinho was the GOAT. Diablo. This might be my new top player. Top 5. The city saying Pele not even the best Brazilian player. So that means this motherfucker the best player of all time. Yo, that clip is crazy. He's so cool. I'm a fan.
Pele is crazy and that nobody really pays attention to the things he says. Which, if you do want to watch—
Yeah.
There are— or Zizinho. In fact, on my video about the tragic story of Robinho, there are quite a few Brazilian viewers saying how Pele is crazy and that nobody really pays attention to the things he says.
Bruh, the fact, bruh, after he says that and he just plays this clip sped up, bruh, come on. Now I believe that he's fucking off that woo-wah, juju, voo-voo, bruh.
Which, if you do want to watch, is on the top right corner of your— To a year where Brazil won the World Cup, their coach Luis Scolari said that he believes Pele knows nothing about football. By the 1970s, Pele was world-renowned, being the second most recognizable name in Europe, second only to Coca-Cola. Pele was so famous that his club Santos took him out on multiple world tours to play exhibition matches and friendlies because so many people would pay to see him play, even if he was against absolute scrubs. And this is where most of his 500 plus unofficial goals would come from. He would play more than 100 games touring around Europe, and maybe this is how he earned such a legendary status. Every time Pele went on a tour, there would be newspaper articles and columns that circulated all over the world, not only in Europe. He was a walking box office hit. Each tour he went on increased not only his fame, but his seeming.
Imagine I was like a karate kid, bro. Like I was like a karate black belt motherfucker, right? Let's say I can fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, the 1v1 with a normal motherfucker, I can take him out. But like imagine like you set me up against like little kids, you know what I'm saying? And boom, just karate chop him. I just start kicking him in the face and shit like that. Like boom, boom, boom. Yo, he's taking out like 20 people. Like, but they're all kids. Like, okay, you took out 20 people, bro. You just fucked up some children, bro. Like you just kicked that little girl in the mouth. And you count that as like you know, as like a school, as like a tally. Like hush, hush, hush. And he just punching up, you know, boom, boom, boom. He's just fucking up, like, people that don't know how to fight and, like, little kids. And then down the line, like, in the future, like, 20 years, 30 years, like, decades later. And then you go around and you start hearing, yo, you know Shabloinks? Yeah, he was a karate legend, bro. I heard he took on, like, 20 people at one time. Bro, they were all children. Imagine, bro. That's basically what, like, Pele, you know what I'm saying? Like, Pele is playing against, like, chickens and farmers and plumbers and teachers and henchmen. It's like, yo, bro, he was dribbling through the city. Bro, Pele the GOAT, he dribbled through all of Italy. Bro, he dribbled through an entire elementary school. Some of them kids couldn't even walk. Some of them kids don't even know what the color red is. They spell it like this, L-S-T-E-R. Pele's a fraud. Pele, you're a fraud. Oh my God, Gerenzino, you the truth.
And maybe it's because of this that people would spread his name and tie it to being the greatest of all time. In all honesty, it just seems to me like the older generations talking about Pele as the best ever has kinda just been passed down and blindly accepted. Pele did impact the game and bring football into a whole new level, bringing even more popularity and interest in the sport. I guess you could say Pele is the grandfather of football.
I'll take that, that's what's up.
Maybe you as a football fan consider him the greatest ever simply because of all this. And don't get me wrong, Pele was the most dominant player in his era and was immensely gifted for his time. He is the all-time leading goal scorer for Brazil with 77 official goals, holds the record for the most hat-tricks with 92, the youngest to ever score a goal in the FIFA World Cup, and the youngest to score a hat-trick in the World Cup. He is in FIFA's 100 Greatest Footballers list, was the FIFA Player of the Century, and was also included in Time Magazine's 100 Most Important People of the 20th Century. Anyways, the purpose of this video is to just inform you guys about a lot of misconceptions surrounding Pele's career and to basically—
what about Gerenzino? Look at his W, bruh. Look at his W. Look, bruh. And motherfuckers see this W that's in black and white and think, bro, look at his W. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Youngest W to hit a hat trick. Youngest W to hit the World Cup in the FIFA. Youngest W, strongest W, best W of all time. Black and white clip. Black and white. Look.
And I just want to say that I am in no fault.
No!
Pele is an amazing person.
No. Like they just saying anything, bro, just because it's old times and shit like that. It's almost literally, quite literally uncomparable. Yeah, damn, that's actually fucked up.
Tropa das solteiras, que é tudo baladeira. Vem pro baile em Cuiabá, se tu tá de bobeira. Não precisa ter medo de vir pro baile.